They said, "God's not on our side tonight. We're finished." Imagine hearing those words in the middle of a battlefield, a crashed helicopter burning, smoke rising into the dark sky, screams of wounded soldiers, bullets raining down, like angry fireflies. And in that chaos, a woman no one believed in quietly raised her rifle. One shot, one enemy down, and that changed everything. Night had swallowed the valley. The silence of mountains was broken by the roar of fire and the cries of men. A helicopter lay twisted on the ground, its blades like broken wings of a fallen bird. The air smelled of burning fuel, of dust, and of fear. Over the broken radio, a Navy SEAL whispered words no soldier wants to hear. "God's not on our side. We're finished." Those words carried hopelessness. The kind of hopelessness only men who've lost their brothers in arms can feel. But not everyone believed that night was lost. In the shadows, dirt streaked across her face, eyes sharp as steel, stood a sniper. Not one the team respected, not one they trusted, but the one who would soon rewrite their fate. Her name was Elena Marlowe. Back at the forward operating base, hours before this nightmare, Elena sat alone. No laughter, no chatter, no one around her. Only her rifle, cradled in her hands as if it were holy. Each movement, slow, careful, precise. Like a prayer only she understood. She was 28, quiet, intense. The kind of intensity that makes people uneasy. Not because she was loud, but because she noticed things others missed. The desert wind howled through the compound walls, carrying grains of sand into every crack. Inside, tough men, elite warriors, prepared for missions that felt impossible. And yet, even here, Elena was treated like an outsider. Just a tag-along, not a real sniper. That's what Sergeant Rodriguez muttered to his buddies, making sure she could hear. Laughter followed, sharp as broken glass cutting through the desert night. Staff Sergeant Williams smirked as he polished his weapon. "Real snipers don't need babysitting. We've got real work to do." Their words stung. But Elena didn't reply. Her hands never stopped moving across the cold steel of her rifle. Each screw checked, each barrel polished. Her silence was louder than their insults. During training, they cut her out. She wasn't invited to tactical discussions. Her ideas ignored. Her presence unwanted. One day, Thompson had sneered, "You sure you know how to use that thing? Maybe safer if you stay in the back with radios," his friends chuckled. Elena just turned her gaze toward the shooting range. Her scores? Always higher than theirs. But they dismissed it. Range luck, they called it. Won't work in real combat. Only one man noticed her truth. Chief Martinez, a veteran, with a face carved by years of war. He saw the way she moved, the way she breathed with her weapon. He knew. But he also knew men like her teammates could destroy unit balance. If only they looked closely, they would have seen her secret. On now. The wooden stock of her rifle, faint initials carved, J.M., her father's name. James Marlowe, a legend whispered among special forces. A man whose impossible shots saved countless lives. But he died before Elena ever wore a uniform, leaving behind only his rifle and his daughter, who carried his fire. But Elena kept this, hidden. She didn't want respect because of her bloodline. She wanted to earn it, even if that respect never came. Then the alarm screamed through the base. A mission, high priority, extraction in hostile territory. Every soldier's face turned. Tense. This wasn't training anymore. This was life and death. Martinez's voice boomed. "Listen up. We're going into hell tonight. Everyone comes home. Check your gear. Check your buddy's gear. No one gets left behind. For a moment, his eyes locked on Elena. His message was clear. Tonight, egos and doubts didn't matter. Tonight, survival was all that mattered. Engines roared, the Black Hawk blades thundered. Elena strapped her rifle on her back, its weight both familiar and heavy. She was ready. But what no one knew was that soon, the same woman they mocked, dismissed, and laughed at would be the only reason they made it out alive. Sometimes, the person they laugh at is the one who saves them all. The helicopter cut through the night sky like a blade, rotors thundering, air thin, every heartbeat echoing in helmets. Inside, the SEALs sat silent, faces tense, no jokes, no banter. Just the sound of weapons being checked one last time. Through night vision, the valley below looked calm. Too calm. A compound tucked between cliffs. Intel said it was lightly guarded, but Eleanor's gut whispered something else. She had learned to trust that voice. 30 seconds, the pilot's voice cracked through headsets, his tone calm. But every soldier knew what lay beneath. Tension. Elena checked her rifle again. Scope aligned, magazine secure, breathing steady. Her hands moved like clockwork. Every step a ritual to calm the storm inside her chest. Boots hit the ground. Dust rose. And then, the trap snapped shut. Gunfire exploded from the cliffs above. Bright muzzle flashes turned night into hellfire. Bullets carved the air. Tracers painted the sky red. The SEAL team had walked into a killing field. Contact left. Contact right. Voices shouted, panicked, overlapping on the radio. Enemy fire came from everywhere. Hidden nests, machine guns dug into rocks, rockets screaming down from the ridges. It wasn't a fight. It was an execution. Staff Sergeant Williams, the team's primary sniper, scrambled to high ground. He steadied his rifle. Everyone waited. They trusted him. Williams never missed. But that night, he did. His first shot, dust. Second shot, wide. Stress had stolen his precision. What the hell, he muttered, adjusting his scope. But the enemy was ready for him. They had studied SEAL tactics. They knew where the sniper would go. And they sent their own bullet first. The shot slammed into Williams. His body spun. He fell silent. Their best marksman, gone in seconds. Hope died with him. Even our snipers can't stop them. Rodriguez's voice cracked through the radio. Panic. Desperation. Above, the Black Hawk tried to pull out. But a rocket streaked across the sky. Then another. Then boom! The helicopter became a fireball. The valley lit up with orange flames. The team was trapped. No escape. No backup. And in that chaos, Elena moved. She didn't scream. Didn't panic. Her eyes scanned the ground. Sharp, calm, calculating. She saw Williams' rifle lying beside his lifeless body. The .338 Lapua Magnum, a weapon built for extreme range, a weapon heavier, stronger than hers. Elena slid across the rocks. Bullets ripped past her. Dust stung her face. But she moved like smoke, low and fast, slipping through shadows. She reached the rifle. Her fingers gripped it like it had always been hers. Breathing steady, scope ready. Her father's lessons echoing in her mind. Inhale, exhale. Wait for the stillness between heartbeats. Then fire. Through her scope, the battlefield changed. It wasn't chaos anymore. It was math. Distance, wind, movement, angles, puzzle pieces waiting to click together. She spotted the machine gunner, spitting fire at her teammates. Range, 700 meters. Minimal wind. Predictable pattern. Her finger curled gently around the trigger. Not forced, not rushed, gentle, like a touch. The rifle roared, and 700 meters away, the gunner dropped. Silence, where there had been death. For a heartbeat, the battlefield froze. Everyone, friend and enemy, paused. Who fired that shot? Then fire resumed. But less certain, less confident. Elena didn't stop. Bolt back. New round chambered. Her eyes found another enemy. A sniper hidden high above, waiting to slaughter her. Brothers. But she saw the gap in the rocks. Small, almost invisible. Her scope lined up. Breathe. Fire. The enemy sniper toppled, his rifle clattering down the cliff. Bolt back. New round chambered. Another target. An RPG operator lifting his weapon. Ready to finish the team. Fire. The round struck him mid-motion. The rocket exploded harmlessly against stone. One by one, she carved holes in the enemy formation. Every shot, perfect. Every shot, surgical. The soldiers who had mocked her now stared in silence. Rodriguez stopped counting bullets. Thompson forgot to call for evacuation, because for the first time that night, they saw hope. Hope carried on the shoulders of the woman they never believed in. When the strong fell, the one they mocked stood tall. Elena's rifle thundered again. Another enemy fell. Her shots were turning chaos into order, hopelessness into survival. But then, she felt it. A shift in the air. A presence she couldn't ignore. From the distant ridgeline. Movement. Not wild. Not panicked. Calm. Controlled. The kind of movement only one type of man makes. Another sniper. Through her scope, she spotted him, settling into position with deadly patience. Every adjustment of his bipod, every breath, every pause. It was like watching a mirror of herself. This wasn't just another enemy. This was someone trained, experienced, deadly. The first shot cracked past her ear. So close it whispered death. Rock shattered, spraying her face with dust and stone. She rolled to cover, heart pounding, but not with fear, with recognition. Because deep inside she knew. She had seen this style before, not in real life, but in the nightmares that haunted her for years. Her scope caught a glimpse of his rifle, modified, custom, a distinctive bipod. The exact details she had studied in old photos. Her stomach dropped. Her blood ran cold. This was the rifle. The same rifle that had killed her father. The man behind it had a name whispered across secret files. A ghost of the old Soviet wars. A hunter of NATO's best. He called himself Shadow Wolf. But Elena knew his real name. Victor Klov, the man who murdered James Marlowe, her father. Her shoulder jerked violently as his second shot ripped through her vest. Shrapnel tore into flesh. Blood soaked her uniform. Pain burned hot, spreading fast, but her hands stayed steady. Her mind locked in. Pain was just noise now. The only thing clear. This was the moment her whole life had been preparing her. For every lesson her father ever whispered came rushing back. Shooting isn't about strength, sweetheart. It's about patience. It's about precision. It's about knowing the right moment and trusting your instincts. Her wound throbbed, her vision blurred, but she controlled her breathing. Inhale, exhale. She shifted position, crawling through rock and dust, staying low, her eyes never leaving his hide. Through her scope she saw him adjust, calm, confident. Victor Klov believed he had already won. He had killed men far better, far more famous. Why would this wounded woman be different? But what he didn't know was that Elena wasn't just another sniper. She was her father's daughter. On her vest, hidden under blood and dust, was a small patch. A symbol of the Marlowe Group, her father's legendary unit, specialists in the impossible shot. The kind of men who rewrote the rules of war. Klov had killed one Marlowe, but tonight he was facing another. The distance was brutal. 800 meters. Crosswind shifting from the northeast. His position, partially hidden, barely visible. A shot like this. It was madness. It was impossible. But Elena had spent her whole life chasing the impossible. Her father's rifle pressed against her cheek. Her blood dripping into the dirt. Her breath slowed, one heartbeat at a time. Through her scope, their eyes met, predator and prey. Two snipers locked across the valley, one living for reputation, the other fighting for legacy. Only one would walk away. Her finger curled around the trigger, not heavy, not rushed, gentle, patient. The world fell silent. No bullets, no screams, just one breath, one heartbeat, one shot. Boom! The round cut through distance, through wind, through time itself. And when it reached him, Victor Klov jerked, slumped forward. His reign ended. The man who had haunted her childhood, the man who killed her father, now lay still. Shadow Wolf was no more. The battlefield froze. Even her enemies felt it. Their strongest warrior, their ghost sniper, gone. And with him, their confidence shattered. The remaining fighters broke, retreating, running, fading back into the night. Elena lowered her rifle, chest heaving, blood still dripping from her shoulder. But her eyes carried fire. A fire of victory. A fire of justice. She had honored her father and saved her brothers. Sometimes one shot carries not just a bullet, but a lifetime of pain, love, and revenge. The valley was silent. No more machine guns, no rockets, no Shadow Wolf. Only the crackling of fire from the burning Black Hawk. Only the sound of heavy breathing from men who realized they were alive, because of her. Chief Martinez rushed to Elena's side. Blood poured from her shoulder. He pressed a bandage against the wound, but his eyes weren't just worried. They were searching, trying to understand who she really was. His gaze fell on the patch on her vest, the mountain silhouette, the crossed rifles, the faded letters. Marlowe. Recognition hit him. Quietly, almost in awe, he whispered, "Your father was James Marlowe." Elena nodded once, pain in her voice but steady. "He taught me to shoot when I was 8. Told me someday I might meet the man who killed him." She looked toward the ridgeline where Klov's body lay still. "Today, I did." Around her, the men who once mocked her were speechless. Rodriguez, who had called her a tag-along, stared at the dirt. Shame heavy in his eyes. His words from earlier cut him now deeper than any bullet could. Thompson, the joker, the arrogant one, he had no jokes left. He only walked up slowly. No words, just a hand extended in respect. Elena took it, her grip firm despite her injury, a handshake that said more than apologies ever could. The medic finished patching her wound. "You need surgery, now." But Elena shook her head. Her eyes sharp, her voice calm. "Mission's not over. Not until every single one of you is home." That moment, those men knew. She wasn't just a sniper, she was a leader. The kind they wished they had seen earlier. The helicopter that came for extraction lifted them out of that cursed valley. Inside, silence. Not because of fear, but because of respect. Every man sat quietly, stealing glances at the woman they had once dismissed. Now they understood. She wasn't lucky. She wasn't a burden. She was the reason they were alive. 8. Confirmed kills. One legendary ghost, Shadow Wolf himself, ended by the woman they never believed in. Weeks later, Elena Marlowe was transferred. Her name vanished from the base, her bunk empty, but her story stayed. Chief Martinez told it to young recruits, not as a tale of war, but as a lesson. A ghost, sniper, he called her. Proof that greatness doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it waits in silence, until the moment it's needed most. Rodriguez, once arrogant, now told every new soldier, "Never judge someone by appearances. I almost got my team killed because I was too blind to see the most capable person among us." Even Thompson changed. When he later heard new soldiers mocking an outsider, he stopped them. letting Elena's story do the talking. Her rifle, her father's rifle, became legend. Some say it rests now in a secure vault studied by experts. Others whisper it's still in her hands, carried into missions that never make the news. But the truth doesn't lie in metal or wood. It lies in the memory of what she did that night, in the respect of men who once doubted her, in the inspiration carried by every young recruit who hears her name. Because Elena Marlowe proved something the world often forgets. Strength doesn't always shout. Excellence doesn't always demand attention. Real warriors don't need recognition. They just show up when the world needs them most. And so, her story became legend, not written in medals, not carved in official history books, but whispered. In the barracks, shared in secret training rooms, etched in the hearts of those who almost died, and were saved by the one they thought didn't belong. Never underestimate the quiet one, because sometimes the one you overlook is the only one who can save you.